Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And the Bulls have just beaten the Stormers 20 points to 16. An epic clash in Cape Town and a heroic performance from the men from Cape Town. Because I think that if you look at that Stormers side, it was 9 changes, 8 injury enforced and 7 injury enforced, 1 suspension enforced and 1 blitzblock player that leaving. But 9 players came into that starting line for the Stormers, and yet they pushed the Bulls right to the end. And I think had they had a few other players and had some X factor, should have won the game. They had everything they needed to win the game. So many opportunities in that second half. Dominated possession, dominated territory, but they just couldn't unlock that Bulls defense, which was tremendous. It was very, very good. I think by the end of it, their tackle success rate 87, 88%. Lots of tackles made. Just too good for the Stormers, who just couldn't unlock that defense. But it was an epic game, a brilliant encounter. And that's what we want to see. That was high-level rugby. Not as many handling errors, thankfully, as against the Lions, but it was quite interesting. Very interesting set-piece battles between the two sides, with both sides dominating a specific set-piece. Some big individual performances, some very promising performances from some of the current box. But before we break down the game, please do smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well, so that you're always up to date. Right, so 16 points to 20. So we have to break down the game 0 through to 80. It started with a try in the 14th minute by Madosh Tambwe, who found some space out wide, skipped inside Admin Farina, skipped inside Daniel Williams as well. Before them, Mornestay and Admin Farina both missed very, very simple penalties. So it should have been 3-3 at the time. Mornestay converted that try, no issues there. But the Stormers hit back through Evan Ruiz in the 24th minute with Adnan van Rijn and then converting that. 7-7 it was. The Stormers then took the lead. They took a 10-7 lead in the 27th minute as Adnan van Rijn kicked a penalty before Steven Kitshoff was sent off. So the Stormers actually had a 10-7 lead at half time. And then in the second half, almost as they went, Madosh Tambwe scored another try. I'm sorry, it's actually before halftime. I was really stupid. It was before halftime. Madosh Tambwe went over the line for a second. He should have had a hat trick today. He had an opportunity where Mornestay had a cross kick, and Madosh Tambwe, I don't know what happened. I don't know if he just misread it, but the ball just completely missed out, and it had nobody in front of him. Should have scored, but he scored. So the halftime score was 14-10. So the Stormers obviously stay very much in the game after the half. Bulls struggling to sort of make that yellow card to Steven Kitshoff count, but they were starting to win the scrum battle, because before then the Stormers had dominated scrum time. Mornestay then kicked a 55th minute penalty after there were no points being scored in that second half before Abner van Rijn then closed the gap once again with a penalty in the 62nd minute. 64th minute, Chris Smith came on. He kicked a penalty, but almost immediately in the 67th minute, Abner van Rijn once again reduced that deficit to just 4 points before Nizam Khan got sent in the 72nd minute. But the Stormers, how many opportunities do you want to have to win a game? So many lineouts in the red zone, so many scrums in promising areas. But try line fever, loose passes, and bad decision making means they couldn't score that winning try. And if you look at the stats, it's quite telling in terms of how much they dominated and should have made a count. And I think the reason I say heroic is because, as I said, there are so many changes to the Stormers side. They were not expected to compete at this level. But then you look at the statistics and you think, how did you not win? It would have been a massive, massive victory for the Stormers. Their depth is impressive. It really is impressive. There are about 15 injuries, I think, across that squad. And yet they still managed to push the best side in South Africa to 20 points, to within 4 points of a victory. So the Bulls, maybe not their best performance, but that's what they do. They get victories. They know how to win. Even if they're not playing particularly well, they find a way to score points. They find a way to get the job done. And that's what they did. 59% possession overall for the Stormers against 41%. Of that, 72% possession in the second half. 80% territory in the second half for the Stormers. 62% overall. They had all the territory. They had all the possession, but they couldn't make it count. Meters ran 326 by the Bulls, 289 by the Stormers. 7 clean breaks from the Bulls, just the 4 from the Stormers. 23 defenders beaten by the Bulls, 20 by the Stormers. That was sort of, I suppose, the difference. 72 gain line carries compared to 90 of the Stormers. So Stormers quite good in that respect. They won 5 turnovers compared to the 6 won by the Bulls. Lots of kicking. I mean, 49 kicks from hand by the Stormers, 47 by the Bulls. So almost 100 kicks. A very big tactical battle between the two. Tackle success rate. The Stormers made 85 of 108 tackles, a 79% tackle success rate, which isn't great. The Bulls made 112 of 132 tackles and 85% tackle success rate, which I think tells quite a story. Ruck success rate, they were both very good at the breakdown, securing a lot of the ball. Not too many, much of the ball was being lost at the breakdown itself. Player stats. You look at some of the big individuals that stood up. On attack, I thought that Damian Willemse found some decent space and ran some decent lines, made some good space. David Crew, I thought, was also quite good. Madosh Tumwe, what a signing he's turning out to be for the Bulls. I think 2 tries last weekend, 2 tries tonight. There might have been 1 try last weekend, but 2 tries tonight. Should have had a hat trick. I thought he was very, very good. But I want to look at the defensive efforts, because this was a defensive masterclass by both sides. And you look at the Bulls side and you can understand why they won. 23 tackles from Ulrich Lowe, 0 missed. 24 tackles from Marco van Staden, 5 missed, 1 turnover, 1. 20 tackles made by Ruan Nokia, 2 missed, 1 turnover. 21 tackles made by Johan Grobbelaar. 3 players with over 20 tackles. I mean, that is insane. That is immense. That is how you win a game. After that, Cornel Hendricks made 10 tackles. Dwayne Vermeulen made 9 on his return from injury. Off the bench, Janko Swanepoel made 7. For the Stormers, P. Steph Toy, 18 tackles made, just 1 missed. After that, Marcel Tienhuisen, 11 tackles made, 3 missed. 3 turnovers, 1 from Evan Roos, who also made 8 tackles and didn't miss a single tackle. But, I mean, you can see the difference. When you've got defensive efforts like Ulrich Lowe, Marco van Staden, Ruan Nokia, Johan Grobbelaar, you know, it becomes a lot easier to win matches. When you've got 4 players making almost 50 tackles together, you know, that's a huge, huge, huge effort. I mean, that's almost half the tackles made in the entire team. So those 4 players could probably be given the credit for that victory. Morné Steyn, I thought, was all right. Made a couple of interesting decisions. I don't think it was his best game. Abden van Reenen really was all or nothing. He had some very good moments. He had some very poor moments. I think kicked out in the touch about 3 times. Missed the kicking it out on penalties about twice. So not the best game from him. I think, you know, the Stormers really need to try and find something with that number 10 role. Cade Bolter looked good last weekend, but he's out for a while. So that's going to be an area of concern. Marvin Orie also going off injured. It's also a bit of an area of concern. But given the injuries, given the situation, the Stormers can be very proud of that result. But also, I think that you've got to look at it and think that's an opportunity missed. They could have pushed that Bulls side. They could have gotten a victory. They could have made a big statement that they were here and they were serious. Because they've always been a side with so many good players, but they just don't pitch up and they can't get the results and they can't win that trophy. And it's because I think of performances tonight, where you dominated almost every single aspect of the game. You know, the scrums were very good. Lineouts weren't great. They lost 4 lineouts and the Bulls didn't lose a single one. You know, whereas the scrums, lots of set pieces. I mean, the Bulls conceded, I think it was like 17 or 18 penalties compared to like the 8 or 9 for the Stormers. This is what I'm saying. Every single statistic pointed to the Stormers having won, and they should have won. But they didn't, because they couldn't unlock that Bulls defense. They didn't have players to get over that advantage line and get that try. Let me know what you thought of the game down in the comments below. Do smash a like on the video. We'll obviously have a team of the week and 5 things learned and all the likes in the next couple of days. So make sure you are keeping it all locked on Forever Sports. My name is Steven. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll chat to you soon.